When President Nicolás Maduro's lips touched his coffee cup that evening, he tasted the bitterness that would change Venezuela forever. The burning in his throat was just the beginning. Within minutes, the country's most powerful man was fighting for his life. And the conspiracy behind it all would expose a web of betrayal reaching the highest levels of government. The date was March 15th, 2023, as the sun set over Caracas. President Maduro was in his private office at the Miraflores Palace reviewing intelligence reports. At exactly 8:30 p.m., the coffee arrived, just as it had for the past 3 years. It was brought by Maria Elena Santos, a trusted aide who had worked in the palace for over a decade. "Your usual, Mr. President," she said with a respectful smile. Colombian dark roast with a touch of brown sugar. Maduro nodded, his mind unaware that his slush with death was about to begin. The first sip was normal. The second had a strange, metallic aftertaste. By the third, he knew something was terribly wrong. The burning sensation spread from his throat to his chest, and his vision started to blur. He called out for Maria Elena, his voice already weakening, but she was gone. The cup slipped from his trembling hand and shattered on the marble floor. 3 floors down. Vice President Delcy Rodriguez heard the emergency alarm. She prayed would never sound the code for the president being in mortal danger. Her security detail burst in. "Madame Vice President, we need to move you to the secure location immediately," shouted Colonel Ramirez. "The president has been poisoned." Those 4 words would echo through Venezuelan history. As she was rushed through underground tunnels, Delcy's mind raced. Who would dare to do this, and how did they get so close? Back in the presidential office, Dr. Luis Morales was fighting to save Maduro's life. The president was barely conscious, his pulse racing. The symptoms were unlike anything the doctor had ever seen. "Get me the toxicology lab on the phone," he ordered, "and call the military hospital. We need their best poison specialists here now." Even as medics worked, Maduro's mind was clear on one thing: this was no random attack. Someone with intimate access to his daily routine had tried to kill him, and they were still inside the palace. Within minutes, the palace was on complete lockdown. No one in, no one out. Every staff member, from ministers to kitchen workers, was confined. The investigation had to start immediately. General Vladimir Padrino López Terranaush. He demanded a status report. "The president consumed the poison about 45 minutes ago," Colonel Ramirez explained. "Dr. Morales believes it was in his coffee. Early indicators suggest a sophisticated, possibly military-grade compound." Military-grade. The words sent a chill down the corridor. This wasn't the work of amateurs. Someone with access to advanced chemical weapons was behind this. Meanwhile, in a basement interrogation room, Maria Elena Santos sat trembling. She'd been found hiding in a supply closet. She repeatedly denied any involvement. "I've served President Maduro faithfully for 3 years," she cried. Why would I want to hurt him? But her story had inconsistencies. Her nervous gestures suggested she was hiding something. The breakthrough came when investigators searched her locker. Beneath her belongings was a small, empty glass vial. The residue inside matched the poison. But it was what was wrapped around the vial that was truly shocking. a photograph of her daughter, Isabella, taken just days before in Miami. On the back, a simple message was written: "Your choice, his life or hers." The truth hit them all at once. Maria Elena hadn't acted alone. She had been blackmailed. Her daughter had been kidnapped to force her cooperation. When shown the photo, Maria Elena broke down completely. Through tears, she confessed to poisoning the coffee, but she also revealed who had forced her hand. And that name sent shockwaves through the government. It was Dr. Alejandro Fermin, she sobbed, the foreign minister. He came to me 3 weeks ago with proof they had my Isabella. He said, if I didn't help, I would never see her again. Dr. Alejandro Fermin was one of Maduro's most trusted advisors, the brilliant architect of Venezuela's foreign policy. The idea that he would orchestrate an assassination attempt against his own president seemed impossible. But as the investigation dug deeper, it uncovered a trail of secret communications, offshore bank accounts, and covert meetings that painted a very different picture of the respected diplomat. Fermin, however, was nowhere to be found. Security footage showed him leaving the palace just 30 minutes before the coffee was served, citing an urgent, unscheduled meeting at a foreign embassy. He had vanished. As Maduro slowly began to recover under heavy security, the hunt for Fermin turned into a global manhunt. Intelligence agencies from around the world were alerted, and a picture began to emerge of a conspiracy far larger than anyone had imagined. Fermin wasn't just a disgruntled minister. He was a key player in an international plot to destabilize Venezuela, backed by powerful foreign interests who wanted to see Maduro's government fall. The investigation revealed that Fermin had been recruited years earlier by a shadowy intelligence agency. They had exploited his ambition and his secret gambling debts, turning him into their asset inside the Venezuelan government. The kidnapping of Maria Elena's daughter was a desperate, last-ditch effort after previous plans had failed. They believed that, with Maduro gone, the government would collapse, paving the way for a new regime more favorable to their interests. Weeks turned into months. Maduro made a full public recovery, projecting an image of strength and control, but behind the scenes, the attempted assassination had left deep scars. Paranoia gripped the palace. Trust was shattered. Every alliance was questioned, every loyalty scrutinized. The government launched a sweeping internal purge, arresting dozens of officials suspected of being connected to Fermin's network. Maria Elena Santos was granted immunity in exchange for her testimony and was secretly relocated with her daughter, who was rescued in a covert operation in Miami. The story of the poisoned coffee became a legend in Venezuela, a chilling reminder of how close the nation came to chaos. Dr. Alejandro Fermin was never captured. He became a ghost, a notorious figure in the world of international espionage. Some say he is living under a new identity, protected by the very agencies that hired him. Others believe he was eliminated by his own handlers once he was no longer useful. But the message he left behind was clear. In the high-stakes game of global politics, a simple cup of coffee can become a weapon, and betrayal can come from the person you least expect. The night of March 15th ended not just with a shattered cup, but with a shattered sense of security that would haunt the halls of power for years to come. As investigators delved into Dr. Fermin's life, a chilling pattern emerged. Secret meetings in Colombia with opposition figures. Suspicious wire transfers from accounts tied to American intelligence. And the smoking gun, encrypted messages with known CIA operatives discussing regime change operations in Venezuela. By midnight, as president, Maduro was declared stable. The full scope of the conspiracy was laid bare. This was no lone wolf attack. It was a meticulously planned coup, orchestrated to eliminate Maduro and install a government friendly to American interests. The evidence was overwhelming. Financial records proved Furman had received over $2 million from CIA-linked shell companies. His encrypted phone held detailed plans for a post-assassination government, complete with a list of who would take over key ministries. But the most shocking discovery was what investigators dubbed the American insurance policy. Tucked away in Furman's safe was a letter on official State Department letterhead promising him political asylum and a cushy retirement in the United States in exchange for his services to American national security interests. As dawn broke over Caracas, a conscious and determined president, Maduro demanded to address the nation. He knew this was just the beginning. The real fight wasn't for his life, but for public opinion. The live broadcasts that followed would shatter records. Maduro, pale but resolute, sat at the very desk where he'd nearly died hours before. "My fellow Venezuelans," he began, his voice still rough, "last night, enemies of our revolution tried to assassinate me. They failed. But in their failure, they have shown their true face. What came next was a methodical, stunning presentation of evidence. The photos of Isabella Santos in Miami, the financial records showing CIA payments to Furman, the encrypted texts discussing regime change, and finally, the letter promising American protection for an act of treason. This is an attack on every Venezuelan," Maduro declared, his voice rising. "They couldn't beat us at the ballot box, so they tried to beat us with poison." The public reaction was immediate and explosive. Hundreds of thousands flooded the streets, condemning the attack. The opposition, blindsided by the proof of American involvement, scrambled to distance themselves from what now looked like a foreign-run operation. But the story was far from over. Investigators soon discovered Furman's network was vast, including military officers, media figures, and business leaders, all working to topple the government. The international fallout was just as significant. The evidence of direct CIA involvement in an attempt to kill a sitting president ignited a diplomatic firestorm between Venezuela and the US in Washington. The State Department issued a flat denial. But as more evidence leaked, including financial records and communication intercepts, that denial became impossible to sustain. Several high-ranking CIA officials were quietly reassigned. 3 months later, the trial of Dr. Alejandro Furman was a global spectacle. Prosecutors laid out a years-long conspiracy to destabilize Venezuela. Furman's claims of patriotism rang hollow against the millions he'd received from American intelligence. Maria Elena Santos de Grievous, her daughter, Isabella, was located by the FBI in a Miami safe house and returned to Venezuela. Their tearful reunion, broadcast live, became a powerful symbol of the human cost of the conspiracy. The assassination attempt fundamentally changed Venezuelan politics. Public support for Maduro surged as citizens rallied against foreign aggression. The opposition, now tainted by its association with the CIA, lost credibility. The experience also changed Maduro himself. He grew more cautious, more determined to expose what he called the empire's true face. A year later, at the United Nations, he held nothing back. "They poisoned my coffee," he told the world. But they couldn't poison the truth. Security around the president was completely overhauled. A new intelligence unit was formed to counter foreign assassination plots. For the American intelligence community, the failed coup became a textbook example of the risks of regime change. The public exposure caused immense diplomatic damage and triggered congressional hearings. Dr. Furman was sentenced to 30 years for treason. In his final statement, he said something that shocked everyone. "I believed I was serving my country. Premier Wavron. The people who recruited me, who paid me, they were never serving Venezuela. They were serving an empire that sees our nation as a resource to be exploited." The night they tried to poison Nicolás Maduro ended not with his death, but with the unmasking of a conspiracy that stretched from Caracas to Washington. It showed the lengths some would go to remove a leader they couldn't control. And it revealed the resilience of a man who had survived countless attacks before. As Maduro wrote in his memoir, they thought poison would be stronger than the will of the Venezuelan people. They thought murder would be easier than democracy. They were wrong on both counts. Today, the coffee cup that almost changed history sits in the Museum of Venezuelan Independence. It's a bitter reminder of a bitter truth. The plot failed, but its exposure succeeded in a way the conspirators never intended. It showed the world just how desperate foreign powers had become to control Venezuela's destiny. By failing to kill Maduro, they may have only made him stronger. The truth that emerged that night was far more powerful than any poison and impossible to neutralize. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden stories that shape our world.